Hi there and welcome. It's Robert Westerburg here from robertwesterburg.com, and today I want to introduce you to an inspiring and amazing lady. You're going to hear this journey, this story as we go throughout this interview. And before we do, I just want to take this brief moment right now to say a massive thank you to you for you being here. Truly appreciate it. And as you're watching this, it may bring feelings up for you. It may bring some emotion up for you. Because where we meet Andrea is in emotion. That's where we meet her. And in order for us to get a real handle on this story, what I need to do is take you back to the beginning of 2015, January 2015. Now at that time, from the outside looking in, everything looked rosy for Andrea. Okay, successful business lady, entrepreneur, loving wife, loving mother. But unbeknownst to the outside world, there was a lot more going on for Andrea inside. At that moment in time, she was struggling inside of her business. She disconnected from it, disconnected from the relationship with her husband, disconnected from herself. Like the negative self-chatter that was going on, and everything like that. But 3 years prior to that, Andrea had lost her dad through an alcohol problem, which then fueled Andrea's drinking problem. And this was where she was at. She got to the point where she was fearful. She didn't want to go out of the house. She didn't want to go and, go to the place of business. Luckily at the time she had people working for her, but there was a lot of fees around money. She wasn't in a great place with that. So yeah, we're going to meet Andrea in a lot of emotion, and you're also going to witness this journey as we go throughout this interview. And since this interview, because this interview took place a little while back, there's also been some amazing things. Now, I'm all for helping people, but I just don't want to help them get from A to B. I want to help them get to D, which is the dreams. Like, I don't want them to get out of that place of, I'm okay now. I want to help them fulfill their dreams. And that's what you're going to hear at the end of the interview. One of the things that Andrea said, was that she wanted to be a public speaker. She wanted to get her message out to the masses, and I'm pleased to say that since this interview has took place, she's had 2 public speaking gigs, so therefore she is living a dream, and she'll have more to come as well, which is absolutely fantastic that she can get her story out into the world and help other people as a result of that. And that's what I love. That's what I love about this lady. That's what I love about what I do. I love helping people fulfill their dreams. But there's a reason why they aren't fulfilling them. There's usually things that are holding them back. Just like what was holding Andrea back here, the negative association that we have with ourselves. What I want to do is help people refine, define, and realign with themselves. Because when you're not in that place, you're not being. Life doesn't become fun. So let's go and meet Andrea now. Enjoy this interview, enjoy this journey, watch it, tell me what you think, come back with any feedback, and again, thank you for being here. Peace out. Bye bye.
I was in a very dark place. A very dark place. Really unhappy. Lost my dad. Was feeling an awful lot of guilt around losing my dad. Felt like I was trapped in a very dark cave, really uncomfortable with myself, really unhappy with me, hence that was affecting everything around me. I was totally honest with yourself, Rob. I talked to you about I was drinking more than what I should be doing, and how I didn't like that. And how I thought I was depressed at the time. Just felt so uncomfortable, lonely, unhappy, and that was it really.
Yeah. So you felt at the time like you were depressed, you were unhappy. Would you say that this was affecting other areas of your life? So you had business, you still have a business, right? A thriving business, a successful business.
Successful business. But at the time, they all just felt like just felt too heavy. The pressures of having a business and being a mom, being a wife. I didn't want it anymore. I just didn't want to wake up in the morning. I just, would have been after that discussion. That was the first day that I actually started to believe that, you know what, this isn't how your life's meant to be, Andrea Braun.
Yeah. So we had that conversation that day, and then we had another conversation like this via Skype.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it wasn't. I think it was it was a phone call, right?
Telephone call, because you had to teach me how to do Skype.
Yeah, it was a telephone call.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got on a call, we spoke some more, tried to get some clarity as to what was going on and how we could move forwards and what you wanted from moving forwards, and then we went on this journey together, and it was a 6-month journey, right? Where
It was.
me and you were together for the 6 months and just working through some things. Like, from the start of the coaching journey, like, how did you feel?
From the start, I didn't know what to expect. I felt very nervous, but I always had trust in you. I found it hard at the beginning. I found it hard just listening to you. When you were asking me questions, I just didn't hear them. I don't know if that makes sense, but I just didn't hear what you were saying. And I just didn't understand how to listen. So for the first few weeks, I had to work really hard at listening. I know that sounds really silly. We should all know how to listen, but actually, I didn't know how to listen. I was hearing what you were saying, but I wasn't listening, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So,
Why do you feel that was, Andrea? Were you overwhelmed at the get-go? Was that something that you felt, or?
Possibly was overwhelmed. I just didn't know what. I was frightened of saying the wrong thing at the beginning, and then I learned slowly how I needed to open up and be totally truthful, because I wasn't doing myself any good by not being able to talk openly and honest with you.
Yeah, you kind of went through.
I had to do that.
We kind of went through that. There was no right or wrong thing really that you could say during our coaching conversation, right?
But in the initial days of first starting coaching with you, I was frightened of saying the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And then I learned, actually, you know what? Like you say, there is no wrong, there is no right.
Yeah. Cool. And how did you feel at the beginning, like, of opening up and being truthfully honest and vulnerable and authentic in those beginning weeks?
That was really scary, because it's something I've never experienced before. I've never opened up to somebody like I'd opened up to you. It was quite scary.
Yeah. Did that make you feel safe?
You did. You certainly did.
Opening up.
And as the weeks went on, I felt that I was able to be more open and more honest,
Yeah. So what happened after then Andrea? Because I know I can, people want to hear from your side, that's, but I'm just asking the question. So after those initial few weeks, what began to happen for you?
I would come away, and after our sessions, and some of them were quite long sessions, weren't they? Our sessions, you never know how you're going to be in there. You don't know what's going to come up, what you're going to talk about. I would always go home and reflect on them. And I would always try to take something away from each session that I could improve my life with. And a lot of the coaching was around work as well, because I was struggling with work, lack of confidence, lack of self-esteem. And slowly as the weeks went on, I found that I was being a much more confident person. I was being happier, a little bit happier with myself. And jobs that I would shy away from, with not having the confidence to go do, I would approach them. And instead of pushing them to the back and thinking, I'm not going to do that today, I know it needs to be, I started challenging these. I started to do these things one at a time, instead of letting them all build up in the corner that would overcome me. I would actually start dealing with them, and start dealing with them with confidence.
Yeah, because I know when we first started, that was something that was that we were talking about. Like, you were just letting things build up and build up and build up to the point where you did feel overwhelmed, and there was a lot of threat going on with regards to you haven't done this, you give yourself a difficult time over it, and that was something that was happening.
Just didn't know where to start. Just didn't know where to start. So rather than start anywhere, I just pushed it away and didn't start with any of it. And in my head, it was building up and building up and building up to be a big thing.
Yeah. Okay. Then what happened?
During the course of our coaching, opened up about a lot of things. One of the biggest things with coaching that I didn't realise is you'd ask me a question and I'd sit there and I wouldn't feel as if I knew the answer. Then all of a sudden, conversation would come out and I would wonder where does that come from? And with that, a lot of emotion would come with it.
Yeah. Would you say that you'd been suppressing a lot of this emotion before our coaching journey began?
Yes. Yeah.
So, what about the light bulb moments? Like, how did those feel? Like, kind of when we were having the conversations, you started having these light bulb moments and realizations within the conversations. Give you that.
It was like someone had lit the sky up. It was like, oh my goodness. So that was that. It was like quite scary. And you would always sit opposite me when we were having our coaching, and you could see that light bulb. You could see my face. You could see my face light up, and I could see in your face. And I was like, gosh, that was massive. You know, it might only be a small thing, but to me, to connect the dots was a massive thing.
Yeah. So is that something that you started to do? Start connecting the dots as you were going along your journey.
Once I'd learned, because I had to learn how to approach each session and be truthful and be honest with myself. So once I'd learned that, the more I let my guard down, the more I would get out of my coaching.
Yeah. Did you feel like that was something that was still happening even kind of throughout the course? Like, not just within the first couple of weeks, but even after that, was that something that you felt like you would do?
Yeah. And I could feel it. And some sessions, I would come to a session and it would be a good session, but I knew that I'd kept my guard up slightly. I hadn't let you in. Yeah.
And you didn't get much out. You didn't get much out of those sessions.
I got a lot out of them, but when I come away, I was just thinking, you know, next time you've got to just be open and honest.
Yeah. So what happened then when you started opening up even more and being more honest and started to speak from the heart? And
I started to feel, I started to have a little bit of belief back. A little bit of belief came back that, you know, I can do this and I am important, because my self-worth was in my boots. I didn't feel that I was good enough or important enough. You know, I didn't feel special. But slowly but surely my confidence grew and I started to get back into the workplace, start making a difference, which was quite hard, if I'm honest. It was quite hard because I'd taken such a back step from work, and then the girls were thinking, oh, what's Andrea coming in for? What's she doing this for? But I was going back in to make positive steps to make it a happier and a better place for everybody, and I was dealing with things that I was putting to one side. And once I started to have belief in myself that I could actually go forwards and make a difference in work, I started to feel happier, and then by feeling happier I felt confident, and then I started to believe in myself again. I think, do you know what, you do know what you're doing, you do know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it was almost like, welcome back, Andrea Braun.
Cool. So what happened as a result of that with regards to your business?
With regards to my business, and you know this discussion we've had, I'd let things slide, so I wasn't particularly chasing fees up and things like that. And then I just started to get back on it again. And, you know, money started coming back through the business, and actually I've got money in the business again. So I was just by putting into practice, business was always good. It was just me. I was just pushing it to one side and not chasing things and letting things build up. Then in my head they were got bigger. As soon as I started tackling these little things, you know, my way became much clearer in work, and money started, the fees started coming in.
Yeah. Because you have a lot of staff that work for you as well, and I know that obviously when we first started, you were, one of the words that you were saying was like you were hiding. Like you were hiding. Is that okay to say? You were hiding from business. You were hiding from the workplace. You were hiding from going in. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. My confidence. I'd lost my confidence.
Yeah.
I was questioning who I was and if am I any good at this anymore? And I did.
What else happened as a result of our coaching together within your connections, so your relationships? What happened there?
I'd lost my dad and I'd had a very emotional time, and I'd been telling myself lots of stories, and once I realised that those stories were just stories and they weren't the real truth, I started to reconnect back with my sisters, and not blame myself for not being there. And that was a big thing for me, because I did feel very guilty not living where my dad lived. I questioned myself because I didn't make the time or the effort. I did make the time and the effort, but when I was in that low place, I felt that I hadn't made enough time, enough effort. I could have done more. But now I realise, I did do everything I could do, and it's not my fault.
So your relationship, what about relationship with hubby, relationship with daughter? How did those things, how are those things for you right now?
Relationship with hubby is much better, because I take time. You taught me, when I'm talking, I'm just thinking how I'm feeling. You've taught me to look at it from his point of view, what I'm actually saying to him, how is he taking that, and how does that affect him and make him feel. So I've learned so much. So throughout our coaching, I take that everywhere with me. Whatever I'm saying, I try and look at it from the other person's point of view and how they would feel. So it's making me be much more aware about other people, not just myself. So relationship with daughter is much better, because how I'm speaking is I'm speaking positively, and I'm taking the time to listen to her. Yeah.
Because at the beginning, did you feel very disconnected from
I did.
everyone?
Yeah. I didn't feel that I was a good mum. I didn't feel I was a good wife. It was all confidence. It was how I felt, and people can say to you, well, pull yourself together, you'll be alright, but if you feel like that, you truly feel like that, it's a very hard place to get from. Yeah. So from being in that dark tunnel to being where I'm at today, that was a long, hard, emotional journey.
Yeah.
You've seen the tears, you've seen the hot sweats, and you've seen me try and push it down when it's hurting to talk about it. And we've shared that.
Yeah. Yeah, the tears and the hot sweats was just me, right?
Yeah. And on a serious note, it wasn't always, dull and gloom. We did laugh. We do laugh like we are today. It was a journey, sad in places, fun and happy enough places,
Yeah, like I think people have this ideology of coaching and it's all plain sailing and it's smooth, but that's not essentially how it works. Like it's up, down. You're gonna have your frustrating parts. You're gonna have your sad. You're gonna have your happy parts. You're gonna have those light bulb moments. You're gonna have different aspects of that journey come in. It's like any journey, right? But that's something that you experience, like we experienced together. There was the highs, there was the lows, there was the frustration, there was the joy, there was the happiness, there was the dips in confidence, then booming confidence, and there was all of these different aspects coming into coaching. So it wasn't just all plain sailing. Are you stroking the dog there?
Quiet.
Yeah, but there was all of those aspects that
sessions I would feel that wow, and I'd be amazed, and in other sessions I'd come out feeling quite, well, actually, what did I get from that today? And it wasn't until later on in the week I would like, that makes total sense now.
Yeah.
So sometimes I come away feeling, oh gosh, I don't know what I've got out of that today, but I always did get something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then you came away from the coaching for a while, and then you came back to it, and we did another 2 months together, and we were working on values. We went back through the escape program, which is something that I do for my one-to-one clients. Like, how did you feel in those 8 weeks when we came back to it?
Can you just say that again, Rob? Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. So
Sorry.
we came back to coaching, and we did another 8 weeks together, because you came away from it, right? And then we did another 2 months together. And what was that mainly about? So why did you come back? What was it? What did you need in those 8 weeks?
I think because we had enjoyed and had got so much out of our coaching, I'd gone off on my own and was, enjoying what I was doing. But then there was still felt that there was still little bits that we hadn't addressed in 6 months, because 6 months sounds like a long time, but actually when you're working through it, it goes like that. It was no time to me.
Yeah.
And I still felt that there was unfinished business. There were still things that you could help me with. Some of them maybe we sort of like scratched on, but I didn't feel that I'd found what I needed to do to make me feel that I'd dealt with these things. So that's when I came back to you and we went on the 8-week program. And a lot of it just reinforced what we had learned in the coaching, but a lot of it taught me to ask myself questions and how to ask myself the questions and how to be even more honest and open in answering them.
Cool.
We got books. You sent me books. I read the books, and the books really helped. My favourite one is The Chimps Paradox.
Yeah.
My husband has that now and recommends it. Amazing book. I learned to read again. Instead of just scanning books, I learned to read again and actually take on board what I was reading. Not just say, oh, I've read that book, Rob. I've actually read it and I understood what I was reading. Yeah.
Because you are a powerful lady. And I know that's something that was blocking you, and I hope it's okay to ask you this, but when you were at school, what was happening there that kind of was blocking you here? So there was things going on in the past and beliefs that you had in a story that's been running that is kind of blocking you here. So what was that about?
I always felt that I was never good enough, I was never clever enough, I wasn't brainy enough, and that all stems back through coaching. We found out that stems back from me being at school, and I have particular issues with maths and English. I always think that I'm never going to be good at them, and I knew that there were two subjects through coaching. I learned that when it was maths, if you knew the answer and you put your hand up, or you thought you knew the answer, you put your hand up, and then you got it wrong, ridiculed. I mean, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I'm a bit older lady, but times have changed, thankfully. But you were ridiculed in the classroom if you got it wrong, and so myself as a child, I went back in over, so I wouldn't answer the questions. Yeah. And I wouldn't answer them. I didn't learn very well in school, and so I left school at 16, no qualifications whatsoever. I sat exams. I was very lucky in the 80s to go and get a full-time job, so I got a full-time job. I had money coming in, didn't have to worry about it. And it wasn't until later on in life that I actually wanted to find out what qualifications I'd got. Unfortunately, the school had destroyed them, so I've always gone through life telling myself that I'm no good at maths, I'm no good at English, I'm no good at this, I'm no good at that, I'm thick. I always said that I'm thick. Well, actually, I'm not thick. I'm a 47-year-old woman running a 21-year-old business, employing 16 staff and having an amazing journey. That's where I am now, with no qualifications.
Yeah. And
qualifications.
one of the things that you were saying to me was it was luck. Like this 21-year business, and you being successful was just lucky. Like that was something that you just kept saying, is lucky, is lucky, is lucky.
Yeah, I always felt that, just being really lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Met some nice people and been very, very lucky and very fortunate. But actually, I did have to go to college. I did have to train. I did have to get my head down. You know, the job I do, which is childcare, you really, really have to know your stuff. You have to know what you're doing. It's a very important job.
Is it okay to share this about your passion, like something that you want to go and do?
Yeah.
All right. So one of the things that Andrea wants to go and do is public speaking and tell her story and help other people and kids as well listen to this story around your qualifications and where you are today. And for me, like, that is so inspirational. But I actually use that to reframe this whole lucky thing, because that's something that you were saying to me for around 10 minutes. It's just luck. Like, I've just got this business, this successful business through luck. So I actually use this as a reframe to say, okay, you're about to get on stage and you're about to do a public speaking gig, and you've got parents and kids in the audience, and you're just about to talk and tell everyone about how lucky they have to be in order for them to build a successful business. It's all just luck, luck, luck. And you can do anything that you want in life as long as you're lucky. And then you went, no. No, I can't go up and say that. I can't go up and say that. And then you said, because why? Because it's not true.
It's not true. Yeah, that was a big light bulb moment for us, wasn't it? It's not true. Be true to yourself. You can be and do anything that you want to do. Just have belief in yourself.
Yeah.
Which is something that I haven't had for many, many years. You know.
Yeah.
I have it now, and it makes me look at the world with a different set of eyes.
Yeah. And that's what we're going to create next, right? So you're public speaking.
Yeah.
So yeah. So what would you say is where you are at now in your life? From the journeys that we've gone through, like, where would you say that you're at?
I had a discussion with someone the other day about life, and what would they change and what would they do, and I am really, really happy with my life. I've got a fabulous business, a wonderful soulmate in my husband, who I absolutely adore, a beautiful, loving, adorable daughter, lots of wonderful friends, a fantastic business. I've the luxury of looking after some beautiful, wonderful children, and having a lovely relationship with their parents, working in schools, just absolutely loving what I do. I've got my passion back, and that's taken me forwards with my life now. And to have confidence in myself at 47, I feel as this is how I should have been many years ago. I wasn't, and I feel that this is me now, and this is my way forwards.
Cool.
I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't change a thing. I'm really, really happy. Actually, yes, I would change a thing. I should have come to you sooner. Should have come coaching sooner.
Thank you.
We can't go back. We can only go forwards.
Exactly. Thank you so much. You're going to be seeing Andrea on a stage soon. Very inspirational lady. And thank you for doing this. Thank you for being open, honest, vulnerable and authentic in doing this video, because I know that it's not easy to get on here and share those things. So thank you very much for taking the time to do this and sharing your story with myself and everyone. Thank you for being you.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.